Good day, esteemed judges, committee members, and fellow participants of Innotech 2026. My name is Eezaty Binti Azman, and today I want to invite you all to look at technology through a slightly different lens. My presentation is titled The Human Firewall, Rethinking Cybersecurity in an AI-Driven World. When we think about cybersecurity, our minds automatically jump to complex things such as lines of codes, sophisticated encryption algorithms, expensive antivirus software, and enterprise-grade firewalls. But today, I want to challenge that narrative. I want to argue that the absolute strongest defense system against modern digital threats is not a piece of software you install, but it is the human awareness. Over the next few minutes, we are going to explore why technology alone cannot save us and how we can transform ourselves into human firewall. To understand why we need a human firewall, first, we have to look at how the threat landscape has drastically evolved. Years ago, a cyber attack or a phishing email was incredibly easy to spot. They were filled with obvious spelling mistakes, a broken grammar, or outrageous claims like a foreign stream offering you $1 million. But right now, we are in 2026, and the era of artificial intelligence has changed the rules of the game. Today, cybercriminals are using generative AI to write completely flawless, professional-grade phishing emails that perfectly mimic the tone of your university, your banks, or even your boss. Furthermore, attackers are now utilizing AI voice cloning technology and deepfakes. This means a scammer can take a 10-second audio clip of someone you know, clone their voice, and call you to request sensitive information. The scams are no longer obvious. They look and sound like exactly the reality. Because technology has advanced, hackers have realized something profound, which is breaking through a modern encrypted computer system is incredibly hard. So, instead of hacking the machine, they have shifted to hacking the human. Global cybersecurity statistics consistently reveal a staggering reality. Nearly 90% of all successful data breaches involve some form of human error. Think about that for a moment. 9 out of 10 times a multi-million-dollar system failed, not because the software crashed, but because a human clicked on a malicious link, downloaded a compromised attachment, or willingly handed over their credentials. Cybercriminals exploit psychology. They don't use coding exploits, they use emotional triggers like artificial urgency, fear, or excitement. They send emails saying, "Your account will be terminated in 2 hours if you don't log in here," forcing our brains to bypass logic and act on impulse. They know that a human is often the easiest backdoor into any network. This brings us to our core concept. What exactly is a human firewall? Let's unpack this deeply. Traditionally, a hardware or a software firewall is a perimeter device. It sits at the edge of a network, meticulously scanning every single packet of incoming and outgoing data, filtering out the bad traffic and letting in the good. A human firewall is the exact same concept, but mapped directly onto the human behavior. It means shifting our mindset entirely from being a passive, vulnerable target of technology into becoming an active, conscious, and resilient line of defense. You see, a machine doesn't have intuition. A piece of software cannot feel when a situation feels off, but humans can. Building a human firewall means cultivating a habit of a healthy digital skepticism. It means teaching ourselves that just because something appears on our screen with a familiar logo does not mean it is trustworthy. Think of a physical security guard at a high security coverage facility. They don't just let an unknown person walk through the front doors simply because they are wearing a nice suit and smiling. They halt them, check their ID badge, look at the visitor manifest, and actively verify their permissions before granting access. As a human firewall, your job is to become that security guard for your own digital life. Every time an email asks you to click a link or a text message asks for a code, your internal security guard needs to step up, hold up a hand and say, "Let me verify who you actually are first." So let's look at 2 real-world case studies here that just show how dangerous this landscape is and why human intuition is so desperately needed. First, let's look at the terrifying rise of the deepfake CEO scam. Recently, an employee at a multinational firm received a video call from what looked and sounded exactly like their chief financial officer. The CFO told the employee that a secret corporate acquisition was taking place and ordered an immediate wire transfer of millions of dollars. Because it looked and sounded like their boss on screen, the employee followed orders. It wasn't until days later that they discovered that the entire video call was an AI-generated deepfake. The software on the computer didn't fail. The human was deceived because the technology was so convincing. Our second case study is closer to our daily life, which is phishing or QR code phishing. We use QR codes for almost everything now, paying for meals, parking, or viewing menus. Cybercriminals have started pasting malicious QR code stickers directly over the legitimate ones, real QR code in public spaces. When an unsuspecting user scans it to pay for parking, they are redirected to a fake payment gateway that steals their credit card credentials instantly. Again, the smartphone's camera worked perfectly, but the human scanning it lacked the awareness to check if the sticker looked altered or...
So, how do we protect ourselves, our universities, and our organizations? How do we build this defense system practically? So, let's talk about two specific uncompromisable strategies. First, we must implement multi-factor authentications, which is MFA, on every single account we own. There's no exceptions. If you only use a password, your security is a ticking time bomb. Password can be guessed, phished, or leaked in data breaches. MFA acts as the ultimate digital safety net. Think of it this way, even if an advanced AI phishing scam completely tricks you and steals your password, the hacker still cannot log into your account because they don't have that secondary time-sensitive verification code sent directly to your physical smartphone. It cuts the hacker off right at the finish line. Second, we must practice the pause and verify rule. The hallmark of almost every cyber scam is artificial urgency. They want you to panic so you don't think straight. If you ever receive a message that says urgent, change your password now, or action required, secure your funds, that is your cue to deliberately stop. Take your hands off the keyboard, close the applications, step away and verify that request through a completely independent channel. If you receive an email from your university dean or your company manager asking you to buy gift cards or transfer project funds, do not reply to that email. Do not call the phone number inside the email signature. Instead, pick up your phone, open your contact list and call them directly, or walk over to their office to ask, did you actually send this? This simple 60-second habit can save thousands of dollars and protect vital data.
As we look toward the future of technology in 2026 and beyond, we have to realize that the very nature of security has fundamentally changed. We are moving away from the era of set it and forget it software and moving into an era of active collaboration. So, let's break down the 3 pillars of this new security paradigm. First, shared responsibility. For decades, the common mindset was, I don't need to worry about hackers because the IT department has installed a firewall. In the modern world, that logic is not just outdated, but it is dangerous. Cybersecurity can no longer be a department tucked away in a basement. It must be a daily habit practiced by every single person who touches a keyboard. Whether you are a student, a lecturer, or a CEO, you are a gatekeeper of the network. If we don't all take responsibility for our own digital front door, the entire organization remains at risk. True security is now a team sport. Second, the human advantage. There is a common misconception that machines are smarter than us. While it's true that software is better at scanning millions of lines of code for bugs, software is remarkably bad at understanding context and intent. An algorithm sees a successful login as a green light. It doesn't know that the person logging in was actually tricked into doing so. So this is where you will come in. The human advantage is our ability to feel when a situation is off. We have the intuition to realize that an urgent request from our boss at 2 a.m. for a password change is suspicious. Software protects the silicon and the wires, but human awareness is the only thing that can protect the system from psychological manipulation and deception. Finally, the key takeaway. I want to leave you with a very hard truth that every cybersecurity expert knows. There is no such thing as an unbreakable system. You can spend millions of dollars on the most advanced military-grade AI security software on the planet, but that software becomes completely useless the moment a user was tricked by a clever deepfake or an urgent email, willingly handing over their credentials. The machine is only as secure as the person operating it. Technology builds the walls, but you are the one who decides who gets through the gate. As we move forward, let us remember that while we continue to innovate with better technology, our greater investment must always remain in the education and empowerment of the human being behind this. Last but not least, to conclude, you guys have to remember this. Cybersecurity is not a product you buy and forget about. It is a habit that you must practice every single day. By remaining vigilant, questioning anomalies, and slowing down in moments of digital urgency, you become the stronger link in the security chain. So that's all from me, and thank you for your attention.